Who's this? I was just finishing my masterpiece. This is one that I'd love to have up above my bed at night. I'm going to walk you through the projects for Michelangelo this month. So we have 2 projects for you to choose from. This month, 6th grade mounts and will be displayed in the lobby. Our first project is drawing, and it's appropriate for all the grades. And what we're going to ask the kids to do is something that Michelangelo did, which is paint, or in this case draw, on their backs. So we're going to give the kids each a white piece of construction paper. You're going to let them choose some colored pencils and give them some tape, and they're going to tape their paper to the underside of their desk, and they're going to lay there on the floor and they are going to draw on that piece of paper. And you want to have them think about what they would like to see on the ceiling above their bed at night when they fall asleep. Now you're probably going to get stars and starry skies, that sort of thing, and that's lovely. So maybe even encourage them to think outside the box a little bit. Anything in the world, things that they love, what would they love to look at as they're falling asleep at night on their ceiling? And encourage them to draw those things. And you want to emphasize the detail because, of course, Michelangelo put a lot of detail into all of the pieces that he did. So the kids being on their back, lying on the floor, drawing like this, they're going to get tired. And that's okay. As they start to get tired, have that conversation with them about, can you imagine doing this for 4 years, day in and day out, through the heat and through the cold and through the paint dripping on your face? Have that conversation with them. They'll get a new appreciation from what Michelangelo actually went through when he painted the Sistine Chapel. But also as they tire, if you want to take them from under their desks and put their papers on their desks, they can absolutely do that too. The idea is the experience. It doesn't have to be for the duration of their drawing. And then they can continue drawing on top of their desks, but again, emphasize the details. They want to really get details in there, whatever they want on their ceiling at night. So that's the drawing project. And again, it's appropriate for any age. The other project we have is sculpting. So with this project, now if your 6th grade class chooses to do the sculpting project, those are not going to be displayed. We unfortunately do not have any place to display the sculptures. So the 6th graders will be able to just take those home with them. If, however, they do the drawing project, mount those, we will keep them and hang them up in the lobby. So for the sculpting, there are these bags of clay in the closet. This is non-drying modeling clay. So this is something that they will be able to take home with them when they're done with their project, and they can use it over and over again. But for this project, you're going to give them a bag of clay, you're going to give them a paper plate, and a plastic knife. And what you want to emphasize here is really the carving of the clay. So they start out with this square block. They can form this into a circle or a cylinder, you know, whatever they really want to do with it to start off with. And then what they really should be doing is carving away at the clay. That's the part you want to emphasize to them, because what Michelangelo did was he started with a large piece of marble and chipped away at it, quite literally, with a hammer and a chisel over many years to actually form his sculptures. So that's the idea that we want the kids to understand and to try with their clay. However, we understand too that they're going to take bits and roll them into pieces and attach them, and that's okay too. Some kids will go straight for the carving and strictly do carving. Others will probably use it more like Play-Doh, and some will do a combination of both. And any of those things is perfectly fine. But you do want to try to emphasize what Michelangelo did and have them give that a try. Some guidance that you can give on what to sculpt. They could try sculpting a bust, a head, a face. Those are some of the easier things that they can start sculpting, carving out the detail of the hair, those kinds of things. They could try doing just a flower, or even a simple shape of an animal, a pig, a cow, something like that. But those might be some suggestions, especially for those kids who are like, oh, I have no idea what to do, okay? But really they can sculpt anything they want. To give you some idea of some of the sculptures that we definitely had a combination of carving. So here we have a book that was carved, and you can see there's detail here in the pages on the side, and here's the spine. So some of it was built, some of it was carved. But we did have a lot of building going on too. So this is a mug, and it was all carved out in the center, and there's detail carved out on the front, and then the handle was attached. It was built. And then we have some straight building. We've got, I think this was a cake that was created, and so it was pretty much built. And again, like I said, that's fine. You do want to try to get across more cakes that, that these things should be carved. And we have some carving here from nostrils and eyes with this boar's head or hog's head, and some building going on as well. And then we also have this amazing little octopus, clearly all built, not really carved or chipped away at, but still a wonderful piece. So really, you know, if the kids end up doing that, perfectly fine, it's okay. As long as we get the lessons across to them, that's a good thing. The other thing too is if, you know, somebody finishes early, we'll have this in the closet for you to make copies of. This is a word search. There's a word bank here on the left-hand side, so even the little ones can take a look and find some words in there rather than a coloring sheet this time. So those are our projects this month. Again, both of them are appropriate for any age. The clay is really not messy. It's a little sticky on your hands. So be sure to have the baby wipes available. Those will be important because they really get your hands nice and clean, much better than the soap and water with the modeling clay. But otherwise, it's a pretty clean project. You can choose either one. I think the kids will really enjoy both. They're both interesting and different in their own right. So enjoy. Arrivederci.